Using a 41-inch band, stand on one end of the band, spreading your feet a small amount. Bend at the hips to loop the end of the band behind your neck. This will be your starting position. Keeping your legs straight, extend through the hips to come to a near vertical position. Ensure that you do not round your back as you go back down to the starting position. After choosing a suitable band, lay down in the middle of the rack, securing the band to the pegs on either side of you. If your rack doesn't have pegs, the band can be secured using heavy dumbbells or similar objects, just to ensure they won't move. Adjust your position so that the band is directly over your hips. Now bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. Your hands can be on the floor or holding the bands in position. Keeping your shoulders on the ground, drive through your heels to raise your hips, pushing into the bands as high as you can. Pause at the top of the motion and return to the starting position. Loop the band around a post. Stand a little ways away, loop the opposite end around the neck. Your hands can help hold the band in position. Begin by bending at the hips, getting your butt as far back as possible. Keep your back flat and bend forward to about 90 degrees. Your knees should be only slightly bent. Return to the starting position by driving through with the hips to come back to a standing position. Standing with the weight racked on the front of the shoulders, begin with the dip. With your feet directly under your hips, flex the knees without moving the hips backward. Go down only slightly and reverse direction as powerfully as possible. Drive through the heels to create as much speed and force as possible, and be sure to move your head out of the way as the bar leaves the shoulders. Using the momentum generated, finish pressing the weight overhead by extending through the arms. Now return to the starting position. Begin with a loaded barbell on the floor. The bar should be close to or touching your shins, and a wide grip should be taken on the bar. The feet should be directly below the hips with the feet turned out as needed. Lower the hips with the chest up and the head looking forward. The shoulders should be just in front of the bar. This will be the starting position. Begin the first pull by driving through the front of the heels, raising the bar from the ground. The back angle should stay the same until the bar passes the knees. Transition into the second pull by extending through the hips, knees, and ankles, driving the bar up as quickly as possible. The bar should be close to the body. At peak extension, shrug the shoulders and allow the elbows to flex to the side. As you move your feet into the receiving position, forcefully pull yourself below the bar as you elevate the bar overhead. The feet should move forcefully to just outside the hips, turned out as necessary. Receive the bar with your body as low as possible and the arms fully extended overhead. Keeping the bar aligned over the front of the heels, your head and chest up, drive through the heels of the feet to move to a standing position. Carefully return the weight to the floor.
With a bench directly behind you. Have a loaded barbell over your legs. Using a fat bar or having a pad on the bar can greatly reduce the discomfort caused by this exercise. Roll the bar so that it is directly above your hips and lean back against the bench so that your shoulder blades are near the top of it. Begin the movement by driving through with your feet, extending your hips vertically through the bar. Your weight should be supported by your shoulder blades and your feet.
Begin seated on the ground with a loaded barbell over your legs. Using a fat bar or having a pad on the bar can greatly reduce the discomfort caused by this exercise. Roll the bar so that it is directly above your hips and lay down on the floor. Begin the movement by driving through with your heels, extending your hips vertically through the bar. Your weight should be supported by your upper back and the heels of your feet. Extend as far as possible, then reverse the motion to return to the starting position. Your feet underneath you and arch your back. Using the bar to help support your weight, lift your shoulders off the bench and retract them, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Use your feet to drive your traps into the bench. Maintain this tight body position throughout the movement. However wide your grip, it should cover the ring on the bar. Pull the bar out of the rack without protracting your shoulders. Focus on squeezing the bar and trying to pull it apart. Lower the bar to your chest or upper stomach. The bar, wrist, and elbow should stay in line at all times. Pause when the bar touches your torso, then drive the bar up with as much force as possible. The elbow should be tucked in until lockout. If possible. 1 to 5 boards made out of 2x6s can be screwed together and held in place by a training partner, bands, or just tucked under your shirt. Tuck your feet underneath you and arch your back. Using the bar to help support your weight, lift your shoulders off the bench and retract them, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Use your feet to drive your traps into the bench. Maintain this tight body position throughout the movement. You can take a standard bench grip or shoulder width to focus on the triceps. Pull the bar out of the rack without protracting your shoulders. The bar, wrist, and elbow should stay in line at all times. Focus on squeezing the bar and trying to pull it apart. Lower the bar to the boards, then drive the bar up with as much force as possible. The elbow should be tucked in until lockout. You would aim for a box height that brings you to a parallel squat, but you can train higher or lower if desired. Begin by stepping under the bar and placing it across the back of your shoulders. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and rotate your elbows forward, attempting to bend the bar across your shoulders. Remove the bar from the rack, creating a tight arch in your lower back, and step back into position. Place your feet wider for more emphasis on the back, adductors, glutes, and hamstrings, or close together for more quad development. Keep your head facing forward. With your back, shoulders, and core tight, push your knees and butt out as you begin your descent. Sit back with your hips until you are seated on the box. Pause when you reach the box and relax the hip flexors. Never bounce off the box. Keeping the weight on your heels and pushing your feet and knees out, drive upward off the box as you lead the movement with your head. Continue upward, maintaining tightness head to toe. Bands on the sleeves, secured to either band pegs or dumbbells so that there is appropriate tension. Typically, you would aim for a box height that brings you to a parallel squat, but you can train higher or lower if desired. Begin by stepping under the bar and placing it across the back of your shoulders. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and rotate your elbows forward, attempting to bend the bar across your shoulders. Remove the bar from the rack, creating a tight arch in your lower back, and step back into position. Place your feet wider for more emphasis on the back, glutes, adductors, and hamstrings, or closer together for more quad development. Keep your head facing forward. With your back, shoulders, and core tight, push your knees and butt out as you begin your descent. Pause when you reach the box and relax the hip flexors. Never bounce off the box. Keeping the weight on your heels and pushing your feet and knees out, drive upward off the box as you lead the movement with your head. Continue upward, maintaining tightness head to toe. Use care to return the barbell to the rack. Barbell on the floor close to the shins, take an overhand grip just outside the legs. Lower your hips with the weight focused on the heels, back straight, head facing forward, chest up, with your shoulders just in front of the bar. This will be your starting position. Begin the first pull by driving through the heels, extending your knees. Your back angle should stay the same and your arms should remain straight. Move the weight with control as you continue above the knees. Next comes the second pull, or the main source of acceleration for the clean. As the bar approaches mid-thigh position, begin extending through the hips. In a jumping motion, accelerate by extending the hips, knees, and ankles, using speed to move the bar upward. There should be no need to actively pull through the arms to accelerate the weight. At the end of the second pull, the body should be fully extended, leaning slightly back with the arms still extended. As full extension is achieved, transition into the third pull by aggressively shrugging and flexing the arms with the elbows up and out. At peak extension, aggressively pull yourself down, rotating your elbows under the bar as you do so. Receive the bar in a front squat position, the depth of which is dependent upon the height of the bar at the end of the third pull. The bar should be racked onto the protracted shoulders, lightly touching the throat with the hands relaxed. Continue to descend to the bottom squat position, which will help the recovery. Immediately recover by driving through the heels, keeping the torso upright and elbows up. Continue until you have risen to a standing position.
Load the bar to an appropriate weight for your training. Attach short bands to the end of the bar, anchoring them on a heavy dumbbell that will not move. Lay on the bench with your feet flat on the ground, driving through your hips. Your back should be arched and your shoulder blades retracted. Take a pronated grip, covering the rings on the bar. Remove the bar from the rack, holding the weight above your chest with your arms extended. This will be your starting position. Lower the bar to the sternum by flexing the elbows. Maintain control and do not bounce the bar off of your chest. Your lats should stay tight and elbows slightly drawn in. After touching your torso with the bar, extend the elbows to return the bar to the starting position.